And blast off. We are live at 4:30. I don't know a good rhyme to go with that. Who is calling me? Oh, I got somebody. I can't answer it right now. I'll answer it later. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. Seems like I never get a phone call unless I'm on doing something. Isn't that crazy? Um, hey, Mike, how in the world are you? Good to see you. Hey, man, I don't know about that. You send her off to the Walmart with your credit card, and you in trouble. Hey, Shannon, I appreciate that. It's good to see you. Always good to see our good friend Shannon. And since we got to meet them, her and Roger down there at the coast, we need to do that again. Plan on doing it again. Got to get up together with her again. Ted mentioned he was going to be busy, or he let me know earlier that he was going to be busy, but he said he was going to try and get in here and watch the replay. And I certainly he wants to hear all the scoop. He wants to hear everything about Chuck Lee back in the day. But I got news for you. We may not do that. I was in there listening. I had it back rocking to old school. Anybody know Buddy Holly? Ollie V, Ollie V. All my hugs, all my kisses. You don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. When you're with me, oh boy, like the world to see that you were meant for me. But I like Buddy Holly. I was reminiscing because me and old Payton back in the day, we was wildcats, man. We listened to all them hipsters like Buddy Holly and the Beach Boys. Actually, I don't remember. Back in high school, I was more of the country. He knew more about the modern music than I did, but I was stuck on Don Williams and the countryside of life back then. That was my jam, my jam. But I did like Buddy Holly. What happened? We had seen a movie. They come out with this movie called The Buddy Holly Story. And I watched it and I was like intrigued. I loved it. Ain't in no wine, Scott. The only wine around here is when I go to whining about things that's going on in the world. And I ain't gonna do that. You're not gonna bring me down. You're not bringing me down tonight. We're staying up. We're staying high. We're staying high. Y'all, I got a guest tonight that we've known each other. Actually, let me tell you this. Now he's a good bit older than I am. I mean, he's old. He's really, really old. He was born in September, and then I was born in December. So September, October, November, December. So 3 months makes a big difference in appearance. So when I get him up on screen, you see this old, frail, old man that can't hardly get around. He'll be doing like this. I can't hear you. You're going to have to speak up there, buddy boy. Just remember, he's a lot older than I am. 3 months difference, and we've known each other ever since. He was telling me earlier about his mama talking about when we shared a crib together. We shared a crib, and we've known each other. Now, the odd thing about it is I went to we never went to the same school. We lived when I was small. We lived probably within a mile of each other. But he lived on the other side of the highway. He lived on the south side of the highway. I lived on the north side. So I went to Denham Springs Elementary School, and he went to Southside Elementary School. And then we moved after the third grade. We moved to Tennessee, to Franklin, Tennessee, for 3 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 years. And we lived up there. And when we moved back, we moved to a place called Watson, which is just a little bit north of Denham Springs. Well, the Southside Elementary people, they didn't have a high school over there, so they had to go to the high school and junior high and all that, I think, at Denham Springs. Anyway, so he moved to Denham Springs, and, of course, they moved to a different location on the north side of the highway. And all that being said, when we moved back, I went to a different school, even though we still was just within a few miles of each other. And we never did go to school together, which might have been a good thing. I don't know. But we went to church together all our life. We went on vacations. His family and our family, we have got into I don't know telling how many places that we used to go to, camping, them little pop-up campers. Just had a fantastic time growing up. Let me get through here in this chat and get back to see who all's in here. And I'm going to get Payton up here because I'm sure that we can find something to talk about. I'm pretty sure about it. I've already said hello to Mike. Terry's going shopping. Hello, Deborah Rasugnolo. Hello there, Scott. I sure hope that you're feeling some better. You had a 2-hour live yesterday. I didn't think you'd be able to hold up that long, but you did, and I'm glad you did. I hope you're doing better. Rebecca, be very careful driving. Don't need to be typing in the chat while you're driving, I don't reckon. I mean, obviously, if there would be ever a time to do it, it'd be on my live, but I'm not suggesting that. Don't do that. Hello, Wendy Benjamin. It's good to see you. It's always good to see Wendy. Got Byron from 12 Stones Ranch. He's over there in Texas, Texas, Texas. Good to see you, Byron. Autumn, our friend, another Texan. Cody, I imagine, is gearing up for all the influx of mounts that's coming into his and her studio. They're taxidermist, and I'm sure Cody's probably getting ready to get out into the woods too. What do you mean, almost as good as you? Man, I am like top of the line singer. Yeah. We're moving along. Hey, Colleen, good to see you. Always good to see Colleen. Is it Jamaica? Bahama, Jamaica. No, I think that's the wrong song. It was the Beach Boys or something. Anyway. Hello, Tom Garber, the keto cook. Good to see you. Tom always making these dishes. And it's keto, which he's explaining to me what keto is. I still don't know. But you ever seen that? Somebody said, explain it to me like a fifth grader. No, explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner. And I'm still not going to know what you're talking about. I just like to watch him cook because when he presents it, it's always so neat. I just flop mine on there and it's good to go. There's Jan, Simply Jan Homestead. I hope it's Simply Jan. And Luce Fawcett hadn't got a hold of her computer, but I'm pretty sure it's Jan. So far, I hadn't seen any outrageousness. So we know how that Luce Fawcett can get. Let me slip on down through the chat. Slipping on down. There's our friend up there in Indiana. Peterson Farms in Nashville, Indiana, not Nashville, Tennessee. Peyton's got a son that works up there in Nashville. Hey, hold on just a second. Paul! I think I got somebody knocking at my door. Hey, Paul.
Sir.
Go see who's at the door.
Yes.
Tell him I'm live. I don't know who it is. Peterson Farms in Nashville. Anyway, I'm sorry I was yelling in y'all's ears. Phil. Peyton has a son that lives up there around the Nashville. I think he works in Nashville. Hey there, Mountain Maple Ranch. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Cleaning out the coops and the pig pens. Good deal. The Rambler can ramble. 19 positive today. It's the first time I can say it's day one to recover. Well, that's good news, Scott. What is it?
Okay.
Man, I should have answered the door. Look what I just got brought. Some okra. It's going to be good. Let me show you something else I got. I don't know where they come from. Anyway, we was given about 30 of these plums. I'm going to make me some plum jelly, and it's going to be plum good. plumb good. I'm all about people bringing over produce, fruit, and vegetables. I'm all about that. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Oh, no. Goodness says I'm not able to go to my paying job. Rest and drink your. That's right. Well, I hope it's not bad on you. Some people like Scott, I think it hits pretty hard, and then other people it don't hit quite as bad. We had never had it here at the house to any extent. I mean, we've had occasions that we thought maybe it was, but I mean, we never went to see anybody because it never got serious. There's our friend Andrea digging for health, and I'm looking forward to that video she's going to put out about her husband and the health issues that he's had here recently. Is I imagine was kind of pretty scary. And I want you to know, Andrea, we was praying for you, praying for him, and that just scares me to see somebody that I consider a friend having to go through some of that. Payton, we're gonna have him up here in just a second. He had to deal with some health issues too, but it's been a couple of years. He's doing a whole lot better now. Payton, I'm gonna get to you in just a minute. Hey there, RG Arizona Homestead. Good afternoon, Chuck, and hello to all in the chat. Man, everything. We have had such beautiful weather, y'all. I mean, we had no rain. We had a little bit of a sprinkle Wednesday, maybe. What's today? Thursday? Yeah, Wednesday. I was able actually to get up Thursday morning. The ground was just wet enough. The leaves were just wet enough that I wasn't scared to get out there and burn some boxes that we'd been saving up for a month and a half because it hadn't rained. Oh, yeah, you've been around it, so you know what you got to do, don't you? And if I'm missing y'all, I'm sorry. I'm trying to run down through here and check some of these things. I'm so glad I really am, Andrea, and I know it's tough to see your husband having to deal with that. I know it's scary for him, scary for you, and but I'm glad that he seems like everything's well. I hope he's doing better. Look at what I've done. Y'all's rain comes tomorrow and sunny. Well, we could sure use. It's supposed to get cold. I think they said it's supposed to get like in the 30s next week. That's crazy. That's crazy talk here in South Mississippi, folks. Crazy talk here in October. Down in the 30s. That's just crazy talk. Yeah, I do appreciate you sending out the channels, Andrew, and anybody else who's a mod. Just feel free to share all the channels you want to. Jan, what time is your live stream? I always try to get off here before that. I won't say 6 o'clock, and I generally don't go that long, but I don't ever want to get into your time. Anyway, Uncle got snow 2 days ago in Alaska. Well, they can have that snow. We don't want snow, and we don't want that 30-degree. You can pour me all you want. I don't like it. Y'all can have it. I like cool weather. I like, 45 to 65. Perfect. All right, y'all. I have kept Payton waiting long enough. Fella that knows me probably better than anybody else in this world. And I've been wanting to have some of our friends on for a while now. They're just, they're not in the YouTube community and world, so to speak, but they are part of our lives. And you can have it. I don't think you got anything to worry about, Colleen. You're never going to get any snow. All right, Janet, thank you so much. What time? 6 o'clock. There it is. 6 o'clock Central Time. Yeah, I'll be out here way before then. But I sure do appreciate you putting us on and listening while you do. He's known me for, like I said, since we were just babies. We were born, coming to this world, knowing each other for so many years. I'm just saying he's a little older I'm just telling you. Hey, Misha. I was wondering where you was at. I was about to just shut the whole channel down. I said, Misha's not in here. I'm just going to shut it down. Shutting it down. But Misha showed up, so everything is good. Everything is right in this world. Hey, Cindy. Appreciate you coming in. I know it's Friday. I know Fridays this time of year, especially this time of day, everybody's off work. They're ready to get out, go eat, blah, blah, blah. Football Friday. Everybody's at the football games. I appreciate y'all coming in and being part of this. And look, y'all ready? Y'all get your seat up close? You better get your seat up close, and I want you to put your hands together, all right, everybody? Say hello to our good friend, Payton. How in the world are you?
I am well, Chuck. How are you?
I didn't keep you waiting too long, probably a little longer than I expected, but
oh, no worries. No worries. It wouldn't be the first time you kept me waiting.
Hey, sure. Easy now. I did have people saying, "Ooh, I can't wait to find out the dish on Chuck. I can't wait to find out what Chuck done when he was growing up." But we're not going there.
Oh, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. So, yeah. Hey, by the way, there's a cure for that 30-degree temperature.
What's that? Move to Florida?
Come down here to Florida, Tampa, Florida. Tampa, Florida will never get snow either. Just saying. But it does get hot in the winter.
Yeah.
You know, I joke around with people though. If it gets cold, you can always put on more clothes.
That's right.
But if it gets hot, sometimes you can't take enough off.
Hey, and you don't want this being taken off. Trust me. Nobody wants to see that.
Oh, I know. Me either. So, yeah. Oh, Chuck. Yep. We grew up together. You know, I think we were less than a mile from each other when we were kids because I lived on South Woodcrest and I think was it Klein that you guys lived on? And you just crossed over the highway to your street, I believe.
Yeah.
It wasn't very far. I mean, we probably could have walked to each other's house, and we probably did a time or two. Except we had to cross over that 4-lane highway, right?
He's seen it.
Yeah, somebody says they'll pay more than Chuck, so spill the beans. Yeah.
Hey, you don't listen to him. He's a Canadian. He's a foreigner. But he's a councilman. What we call a councilman, I guess.
Okay.
Up there, he's running for office right now, so he has to be nice.
I'm gonna see if I can. Is that lighting a little bit better?
It's fine. It's good.
Felt like I was just I was like in the spotlight. You know me. I don't like to be in the spotlight, Chuck.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
That's when he's supposed to laugh. But yeah. Gosh, yeah. I mean, we grew up. I know, as you said, we shared the same crib together. Our parents were best friends. Until my mom passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
And of course, they're still friends with my dad, of course. But man, we spent many an hour together, and as you said, vacations, Riverside. We used to go to Riverside all the time.
Riverside.
Or Toledo Bend, right? We'd go over there, and I
love Toledo Bend.
Yeah, we always had a good time over there. We'd rent those cabins and go out fishing, and of course, you were really more into the fishing than I was. But I would always, my brother always joked. I used to make him so mad because my brother loved to fish. But anytime that I was in the boat, he would never keep up with me on how many fish I would catch. he was taking his rod and throwing it to the side over there where all those bass were. And I would just have my rod hanging off the other side of the boat, just kind of in the middle. And I would catch those sac-a-lait all day long. Right.
Oh,
and I would just destroy them on how many fish I'd catch.
Now, Payton, you got to understand, we're speaking to a lot of people that's not raised up in Louisiana, so they don't really know what sac-a-lait is.
Crappie, white perch,
perch. That's right.
Yeah, I used to live in Illinois for a while. Remember, so I learned how to speak other than South South language too.
That's right. You did live up there. I didn't remember. I didn't remember that until you just mentioned it. You've been quite a few places.
Moved all over.
Let me give you some background on Payton. Now, Payton was always the smart one. Now, I made A's and B's in school. I did. High school really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that much of a challenge. If you just done your work, you could do it, whatever. And I could pass, but I wasn't smart, like smart. I mean, I could get by and I could pass, you know what I'm saying? And I always made good grade. I was like fourth in my class or something, but we only had like 50 something people in the class, so that really don't count. Payton, on the other hand, he was like, I'm right here, and he was like way up out of my league when it comes to smarts. He went off to college, got his associate's degree. Where'd you go? Pine?
I went to Louisiana College in Pineville, Louisiana.
That's right.
That's where I got my first degree, and that was in biology, and had a minor in chemistry.
Okay, that's right. Yep. And then you went over to Southern Miss, didn't you?
Southern Miss, and I went over there for, gosh, I spent a lot of years there, 5 or 6 years, working on my PhD over there. So that just means piled higher and deeper, right? That's what PhD stands for.
Piled higher and deeper. Well, you've done it. When you went to school, I was going to say, Payton, he got his associates, he got his bachelor, he got his master's, he got his PhD. Chuck went to school and learned how to play pool, learned how to play ping pong, learned how to go to the bars, learned how to skip school, and except for mine, it's going downward.
Oh, well, hey, but you got a good profession later in life, right?
Well, only the good Lord could do that.
That's right.
And the people that really knew the inner old Chuck would realize that there was a change made.
Hey, I know. I can tell you some stories of that old Chuck now. Like you said, it's probably good that we didn't go to school together much. We did go to school when we were in kindergarten. We went to the same kindergarten together.
We did. I remember that now.
First Baptist Kindergarten in Denham Springs, Louisiana. That's where we went. We went together there. And then, of course, after that, when we went to first grade, you went to the north side where all the rich people went. And then the south side, we were on the wrong side of the tracks. But, yeah, we were, I went to south side. But we saw each other, gosh, every weekend. We spent many an hour together, right? Yeah. But like I said, it probably was good. We would have got in some serious trouble. Hey, no clue.
I spent my entire childhood with the pools.
Go away.
Yeah.
Smart aleck.
Yep.
Appreciate it, RG.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together and got in a lot of trouble together, or times we should have gotten in trouble that we didn't, probably. That was only by the good Lord's grace that we didn't get in some really serious trouble together, right?
There was one time that you had I can't remember the name of the little car that you had. We was young. I didn't turn 18 till after I was in college. You turned it just a little bit before I did, but I remember when I was probably 16, I had scratched my driver's license. Somehow or the other, I was able to get up under the film and scratched it where it made it look like I was 18 instead of 16 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to get into the bars and all the, because all my friends were a little bit older than I was in school. And so I was going to do that to Payton's. I made a mess of it.
Oh, yeah. And then we tried to use it.
Yeah.
And remember we went to that place, and that place took my license from me.
I was like,
and I was like, oh no. And so I had to go like the next day. I told my mom that I lost my driver's license. So we went to go get a duplicate. So I had to go to the place and get a duplicate license after that.
Yeah.
Because we messed it up so bad. So
it was pretty bad. Yeah. I had to drive your little car home, and I think it was a stick shift, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it? man, which I knew how to drive a manual.
Yeah.
I've been doing.
I had that little. Was that little black Toyota Celica that I had?
It was a Celica. That's right.
Yeah.
Was it black? A little black one? Or I thought it was a tan one. Or
there was a tan one that I had for a little while after the black one. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that may have been it.
Yeah.
But what was the name? Well, I can't remember the name of that place. It wasn't Texas Dance Hall. I know they had a Texas Dance Hall over there.
Yeah, there was. We went over there one time. I don't know if you were with me the night that I was driving my brother's car over there, and I locked the keys in it.
Yeah.
And were you there then? And
I think so, yeah.
And someone got in there and was trying to get those keys out, and they actually put a lever inside the window, started pulling that window back, and we had those keys almost coming out of the car. And about the time we got them to the top of that window, the whole window just shattered. I was like, oh no, now I got to explain. And we were supposed to be at the movie theater, right?
I don't remember. I know we weren't supposed to be at the bar.
I know we weren't supposed to be there. And yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Our parents, especially my dad, was a deacon at a Baptist church, and his dad was a deacon at the same Baptist church.
Yeah. So you know what they say about deacons' kids? They're the worst, right? Well, I know preachers' kids might be the worst, but deacons' kids are, I don't know. I think they're probably all about the same. I know we joke about that now, but, God later on, he had mercy on both of us,
That's right.
In fact, I was saved under your preaching, right? And you you wound up baptizing me.
I did. I had moved up to Columbus, Mississippi, and you had slept there before me.
I was up there before you. Yep.
Right.
And you got called to the church there, and you came up. And I spent, and when I was first up there, if you remember, I was up there. Wendy at the time, my first wife, had not moved up there, and so I spent a lot of hours with you guys, right?
Yeah.
And so and about that time, I kind of figured out that this whole thing of being a Christian, I didn't really know what that really meant. And, I remember you had a message talking about making your calling and election sure. And I was like, you know what? I'm not sure of this thing. So, but I got it right. And, and we were talking about it last night as we were preparing a little bit for this. And we were talking about getting baptized. The church we went to didn't have a baptistry, right? It was one that's still baptized in a river. And they had a big flood about that time. And all the water was up out of its banks. And I always tell people this day, I was baptized in the middle of a field.
In the middle, right? That's right.
Because there was no, it was way up out of its banks, and so we just got out in the middle of wherever we could get, to deep enough water, and that's where it was. If you went there today, you wouldn't see a river there.
No, we got her done.
That's right.
We got her done.
That's right.
I remember that. I remember coming over to your house. I think it was at night, in the evening maybe, or something, at night talking to you, and you was telling me about it. And I was kind of, because it is a little small church. I mean, little small church, and but I loved it up there. I did. I loved that community. I loved the people. It's right on the Tennessee Tom Begbie Waterway, and I could take my oldest son, which he's grown and gone now, but I could take him out fishing. We would I'd take him jug fishing, catfishing.
Oh, yeah.
Hey there. It's good to see you. Appreciate you hopping in. What you got Gracie making the meatloaf, huh? I bet she could do it too. She probably don't need your help. Just get out of her way and let her handle it. She can do it. Don't forget to smash that like button. But Payton, I remember you went to Southern Miss, then you got a job out of Picayune, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I moved from down there down to Picayune. I was working for a company there for a few years. And then after that, wound up moving up to Columbus.
But wasn't while you was in Picayune, you worked for like some kind of paint company or
Valspar had a facility there back then. Yep.
Okay.
We did automotive paint.
Automotive. Okay. Didn't you create some kind of paint or
Yeah, I mean, we had different kind of paints, but one of the things I did a lot of research on was creating paints for golf clubs of all things. So if you've had a TaylorMade or some of those back in the day, some of those colors and paints were made at our facility there. But yeah, I did a lot of research on that and coatings for like golf club shafts and different things like that. So, yep. Spent a lot of time in that industry. Of course, since then I moved to a whole bunch of different industries, and now I don't do anything near that. Near that, right? So now I'm involved in corporate training.
You got a degree like in polymer science or something like that, right?
Yeah, plastics, paints, stuff like that, chemistry related stuff. So yeah. So yeah, it is really see a lot of people talking about cooking. Being a chemist is really not much different than being able to be a good cook. Right. I think that's probably where I got it from is, my mom was a cook. Right.
Oh, yeah. Hey, between your mom and my mom, we had it made, didn't we?
Yep. Someone there says they managed an automotive paint store. So it was Valspar Refinish is what we had there. So, yeah, we, competed against the big guys. We were a smaller company at the time, but I think they're a little bit bigger now.
Yeah, I think Valspar is pretty well known, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, as far as Valspar is a really big company, they were always known for house paint and stuff like that. But
okay.
They wound up, being more into some of these other areas as well. PPG, yep.
I don't know what that means.
PPG is one of the paint companies, right? You have DuPont, PPG, Valspar. There's a few others, right? What was kind of funny back in the day, so everybody probably remembers Jeff Gordon, the race car driver, right?
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon, who raced, he always raced for DuPont Automotive Finishes, right? But his car was not painted with DuPont paint. His car was painted with a paint from a company called House of Color, which Valspar wound up buying. So it was kind of interesting that the car that he was running was not that. I know. Yeah, they used a lot of the House of Color stuff back then.
No, so, I didn't know. Which I never kept up with racing and all that too much. I mean, I knew who Jeff Gordon was because I don't live under a rock. But she said her dad worked at PPG for 40 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And Nick is multi-hunter 247. He lives over in Texas.
Okay.
And him and he and his family, and he does a lot of hunting videos. You see the pig, you see the logo. It's got that big old pig. They shoot pigs and hogs, and deer, and all kind of stuff. My type of guy. You know me. That's right up my alley.
That's some good eating with that those hogs that you kill. Good stuff.
They are. I think a lot of them over there are just a nuisance. They just because some like the male hogs, the boar hogs, they're not any good to eat because they just they nasty.
Oh, yeah.
But some of them are really good. You get that backstrap. I tell you what we done, and Nick, I don't know, you probably done it any way you can do it because you've been around it a lot more than I have. But I've only killed, I think, 2 wild hogs in my entire life. But I remember taking a hind quarter of one, and of course you grill it on the grill for a while just to make sure it gets singed on both sides really good. And you put it in the pan and you just soak it. We used to like to use that. I think it's called Jack Miller barbecue sauce. Anyway, I think it's called Jack Miller's barbecue sauce, and put that on there and just slow cook that thing 8, 10, 12 hours. Oh man, good stuff.
Yeah.
Nasty and way too many.
You got to realize Chuck and I grew up in southern part of Louisiana. Most of the people there eat almost anything. So you gotta realize that.
Hello, Raquel.
Although I'm not sure about Chuck.
Hey, I remember we used to go down to the coast, down to Fouchon. down, like going toward Grand Isle. We go to Grand Isle, Fouchon, Leeville area. And I remember we used to drive on a sandbar. It's like a rock ledge that went out there. I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember that you had to drive it when the tide was down.
Yeah.
So you could drive on the wet sand, because if you drove on the dry sand, you'd sink to your axle. But you could drive on that wet sand and it would hold you up. And we'd drive all the way down to the end of those rocks and get out on those rocks and fish. Use a popper cork. And what was it? Shad rigs. Shad rigs, I think.
Yeah, shad rigs, yeah.
Throw it as far as you can and then pop it back.
Man, we used to catch a bunch of fish down there in Grand Isle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Were you with us the time that the shark came up on me? I don't know if you were there with us. Were you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember or not, but so we were out crabbing. We had some crab traps out there. We'd put chicken in these crab traps, right a little bit off there, and Mom and Dad every once in a while, hey, you guys, you go out there and check those crab traps, right? So I went out there and I started checking the crab traps, and I reached down under the water and grabbed one of them. About the time the crab trap just kind of took off away from me, and I kind of pulled back on it. It's just your response. About that time, two fins came up about 2 or 3 feet away from me. And I know Mom and Dad and them used to joke about it. They said that's the only time they saw someone almost walk on water, right? Because I started coming out of that place, man, scared me to death. But yeah.
Hey, man, we would catch a lot of crabs doing that. What we'd do, we'd put a pole in the water at different, and have a string going from the poles, and then stanchions or whatever you call them, hanging down with chicken.
Yeah.
And you go with the net a lot of time and just kind of lift it up, put the net up under it, and catch the crabs like that.
Get that crab, and then that night we had some good eating. We'd get that and boil those crabs up, and good stuff.
I love it.
Yeah, it was.
Do you remember when Hunter is Peyton's older brother? Now Hunter was like 6 foot tall when he was in kindergarten, I think. His mama, Peyton's mama, was a very short lady. She, did she make 5 foot?
She was probably about 5'1" or 5'2", maybe. Yeah. Maybe. My dad's about 6'2" or so. My brother was ended up about 6'4" or 6'5". He's a big dude. And I came in at about 5'8", so I 5'9", so I got the shortness.
You got your mama's side, and he got your daddy's side.
Yeah.
But I remember, and he's a good guy. Hunter's he's always was very friendly, and he still is. He just gets along with folks pretty good. But I remember him walking down the sandbar one time, and somebody had thrown an old hardhead catfish up on the bank. Them hardhead catfish, they just trash or whatever. But
they're a trash fish, yeah.
They got them fins on them that it gets you now. It hurts. And I've had them, and it just stings real bad. Well, he went to, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
He went to kick that thing.
And he had his tennis shoes on. He had those Converse. Yeah. He had those Converse tennis shoes on. And that fin went all the way up through that shoe, through the rubber sole of the shoe, and cut his foot wide open. I don't know how many stitches he got. But he was crazy. Yeah.
You wanted to see a big old boy crying?
Hey, I don't know if you remember it or not. Sometimes you'd go out with me to the area we called the country, right? Out there in Stony Point, Louisiana, right?
Oh, yeah.
And do you remember that time that we found that bird that had bit the electric fence? I don't know if you remember that or not.
Hanging?
It was hanging on it. It's like it. There was my grandfather had a electric fence in a certain area, and so we knew not to touch that fence. But there was this bird that I don't know what it had done. It had somehow bit the fence. So I don't know if there was a worm on the fence or something, or a bug or who knows. But that bird had bitten that thing and was just hanging there. And so I think you decided you were going to pull that bird off that fence and reached up and grabbed that bird, and that fence forevermore shocked you, right? So then we went and we found a stick, and we were beating that bird with a stick because it was dead, right? We were trying to get the bird off the fence, and yeah, it was that was the craziest thing.
Payton, his mother's family lived out what we call the country, because it was the country. It was they had an old country store, I think, about all they had out there, and but I remember they always grew watermelon, lots and lots of watermelon. I think they raised cows and stuff, but the thing that sticks out in my mind is the watermelons, because we'd always go out there when the watermelons were just covering the fields, and we tore up some watermelon, didn't we?
Yeah, we'd pick up one of those watermelons and then accidentally drop it, right?
Yeah.
And then eat the heart of it out. We wouldn't worry about the part that had all the seeds, right? That was horrible stuff, right? We just eat the middle of it out. And my grandfather and all afterwards would talk to my mom and like, they got to stop doing that. Because I mean they made money off those melons. It's out in a place called Washington Parish, Louisiana, and they're known for their melons out there, right? Yeah. And still to this day, I think if you go to Louisiana, you try to buy a Washington Parish melon off the side of the road, I think you're paying probably $12 to $15 a piece for those things now. Back then, they probably sold them for $2 or $3 a piece way back then, but that was still a pretty good, a lot more expensive than what you paid in the grocery store because they were known for their melons, right? So, and that was a big way they made money. He used to get so mad at us about doing that.
I know Hunter used to, when I was over there pastoring over there in Denham Springs, Hunter used to get them for his boys to go sell them, bring them over to Denham Springs and sell them out there. But it was fun. We, out in the country, there wasn't no lights. We'd walk in roads and and everybody knew everybody. So we always had a good time. Go up to that little store, and I think we may have accidentally took some Coke. They had one of them old Coke machines there that I can't remember exactly how it worked, but I remember you able to stick your arm through there. But
well, and the other thing too, that store that was there was called Graham's Store. My uncle had and I always knew that he had an account at that store, right? And I just walk in and I'd get something, say, put on my uncle's account, and I'd walk out. I'd get whatever I wanted and just charge it to my uncle, right? My Uncle Danny. But I mean, he didn't mind. I mean, he would always tell us to do that. But we would just go in and get stuff. And but I also remember that summer when we were in high school.
Hey, been your chicks.
You remember the Christmas tree farm?
Oh,
over there. We remember us having to go find all those Christmas trees out in that field for everything that was grown up. Whew, that was some hot work in the middle of the summer.
That it had to be I'm trying to think. It was either 3,000 or 4,000 Christmas trees.
Yep.
And me and Shane, my next door neighbor, had planted them. We got out there one in what they call them, a dibble or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you pushed it in and then dropped the tree in and then pushed it. Anyway, we planted every one of them thousands of trees, me and my next door neighbor, when we was just kids, 14, 15, 16, I can't remember how old we was.
Yeah.
Well, you had to keep them up.
Right.
And, you could mow down them, but around the trees, the grass would get them. And he didn't want it. He wanted them clear so that they could grow. And what was it? Did we have to hoe around them?
We had those hoes out there, and we'd have to hoe around those trees. And we have to go find every one of them, kind of stomp around. It's amazing we didn't get bit by snakes or whatever else out there, but we didn't, right? But I remember us doing that, and it was so hot. It was like in the middle of July. July in South Louisiana, everybody, is the real deal. It gets hot and humid and nasty. And, we did that as well. And
we had the circle. I can't really show it because I can't get the camera back far enough, but we had to do a circle around each tree that was pretty good size.
Yeah.
And, that was a chore. Now that wasn't no fun.
Oh no, it wasn't fun at all. We got paid okay, but it was not fun.
Well, back then, it was okay. What do we get? $2, $3, $4 an hour?
Oh,
Like
we thought it was a lot of money. Well,
yeah.
It gave us enough money to go get in trouble at places like the Texas Dance Hall and stuff. Now
Yeah.
I think we were younger. I think we were younger than that then. I don't think we were into that kind of stuff quite yet. But although you were, I mean, when you
Maybe.
changing your driver's license, because back then, the age to get into places like that back then was 18 in Louisiana. Right. That was before they changed. I think they changed the law after us. It was about the time of us when that all happened. But yeah, it was. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, like I said, we had our fair times of
Good to see you, Brother Bill.
Of doing stuff like that, right?
Well, and that place where we done the Christmas trees, the first job I had, the reason I worked there is my next door neighbor, his mother and John worked together.
Okay.
And so he got Shane. They had a fence, a metal fence, a pipe fence. They went all down the side of the highway, and then it went down around his house. And I can't remember where it was a big, long fence if you ever was in that part of the country. And I helped Shane paint that fence with socks. We had socks that we used. And 5-gallon buckets, and we had a dipper hand in there. First of all, we had to sand it all. This entire big long metal fence. I couldn't do that now to save my life, but then we had to prime it, and then we had to put 2 coats of black paint on it. And so you can imagine it took us all summer to do that. But we could go. He had the Amite River that bordered his property. We'd always go back there and jump in and cool off whenever we wanted to. So it wasn't too bad.
Something else we probably wouldn't do today. Go jump in that water.
I spent a lot of time down there. I never got lost a 4-wheeler in it. Was you with me when I think who was with me? He had he had made it where you could go tubing.
Yeah.
What he wanted to do, he wanted to run, what was that, Thunderbird Beach?
Yeah.
That's where your dad used to live. They made that into a subdivision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that used to be called Thunderbird Beach back there. It was like a park, people would go during the summer. And they started doing canoes and tubing, and he hated it. He did not like the idea of people floating down his river.
Yeah.
And so he started his own business. And he didn't want to make money off of it. He just wanted to get enough away from them that it'd run them out of business. But we went down through and made a path through the woods, got down to the beach, and I was out there on it's a 3-wheeler back then. They didn't have the 4-wheelers then that I know of. Yeah. And the river come through, and they had like a little island in the middle of the river. And it wasn't that deep. It was only maybe 1.5 feet, 2 foot deep at the most. Between the island and the main bank. And I said, I'm going to get this 4-wheeler across there. And I gunned it, got out across there, and, them big old tires, they float. And, next thing I know, this current is sweeping me down the river, and I'm panicking. I'm like trying to hold on to the 3-wheeler and trying to get it back to the bank. It was my boss's 3-wheeler. I didn't want to lose it. And, before I got to the end of the sandbar, I was finally able to work it where I could get my feet up under me and get it back to the bank. And I was like, I don't know what happened to it.
You're like, I'm not going to do that again. Oh,
hey, did you hear John got in a little bit of a trouble?
Yeah, just a little bit, huh?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I heard a lot.
Yeah.
I
don't know if it happened. I know he was, I think he was charged with it or whatever, but I don't know if it's ever gone to trial or anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know there was some stuff going on, or some, I guess people thought stuff was going on. At least I'm not sure of all the details of that. Right.
Hey, did you know the FBI come to my house when I was working for him?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
He worked for something called the Amite River Basin Commission.
Yeah.
And somehow or the other, I can't remember, he was on the board or something. Anyway, he had something to do with them. And he's like one of these guys that was in a little bit of everything. And one day he paid us with Amite River Basin checks. And, we're just kids. We don't know nothing, no better. Me and Shane both. And next thing I know, I got the FBI knocking on my door. And I want you to know, I was a little bit nervous because I was like,
I can imagine.
Well, I didn't know the reason. I didn't know anything. They was questioning me and all that, and I had no clue what it was all about. But had the newspaper call me, the news station called me. I got an interview with the news station, and he nearly got me in all kind of trouble. To be honest with you,
your 10 minutes of infamy.
Oh yeah, I guess. He had some folks come in. I don't know if I spoke to Remy. Hey Remy, good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. Vineyard Chicks, appreciate y'all coming in. I think I might have mentioned Michael MB Heritage Farm. Good to see you. There's Dawn Ray. She's coming in. I appreciate. Andrea. I do appreciate you coming in. I know you got a lot going, and they ain't gonna be no dirt. I'm just gonna tell you straight out. I'm not gonna give away all my secrets.
Oh, you mean I can't tell any of those other stories?
Well,
we were. It's amazing we didn't get in more trouble than we did, right? And we were talking about it yesterday. So our parents weren't stupid.
No, they weren't.
I think our moms just kind of said, "I know they're doing it. I just." We love these two little knuckleheads, and they didn't really say much. Our dads, on the other hand, they weren't afraid of giving us the way of correction. Let's just leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
Because we needed it. We definitely.
But like
needed
you said, the good Lord's the only thing that got us through it. The grace of God, the mercy of God. Because, I mean, there were times that, without a doubt. I had no idea how I got home. Yeah. And had just literally no clue. That was back in, we tell people nowadays that was before we met Jesus.
That's right.
It's not an excuse. Right. It's a fact. It's just a fact.
Because we certainly don't want to glorify that, right? It's one of those things that everybody kind of goes through these kind of things, and we want to make sure that, that's always a learning experience, right? And if we don't learn from our stupidity and our mistakes, then that makes us stupid, right? We have to, we have to learn from those things, and God has a lesson in all of that for us, right? That right. Number one, there's really not too far that somebody can go that he's going to think you too far from him, that he can bring you to him, right? There's no doubt, because both of you and I are living proof of that statement, right? That he certainly has helped to guide us and where we are, and now we've you've been how long you been a preacher now? You've been preaching for a long time, hadn't you?
29 years. Next year be 30.
Okay.
I got to kind of keep up with it through charity. However old charity is, that's how long it's been. So, and charity's 29.
And to put it in perspective, you baptized me 24 years ago.
Okay. Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah, I was 31 at the time. So it tells you now how old we are. I'm sorry, Chuck. I just told everybody we're the double nickel. You're not double nickel yet.
I'm not that old yet. I got another couple months.
That's right. I'm the old guy. I'm the old guy in the room. So
that's right. I still got a couple more months to glory in my youth.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that you're still coloring your hair.
Yeah. Well, I want to keep it's falling out though. It's
I at least have mine. It's just all gray. Oh, I
I
tell
started
people,
I started growing it out this way because this grows good where this don't grow hardly at all anymore. So I'm not sure. And
yeah.
it grows out the ears and out the nose and out the eyebrows and everything else
Oh yeah.
nowadays.
You got to have those things. Oops, sorry, my dog is deciding he's wanting to get involved in this equation today. But someone said they'd love to see you do some preaching. So that's what you ought to do one time. Do a little preaching on this one time.
I get off into a little preaching every once in a while.
Well, either that or bring in some of your music and just do some singing. That's all right too.
I've done some singing every once in a while, but the dogs keep howling and all that when I get on here.
Like
actually,
that?
Yeah. No, I was going to tell you something. Payton lives down there in Florida. He's already mentioned he lives down there in Florida now. Payton just went to, and we're going to have to hurry because I see my time. It's amazing how quick time goes. Payton just got back from London, or where'd you go?
Yeah, actually went 2 times this summer. I went to the first trip. We did London for a couple of days. Went up to Scotland for a couple of days. Then over to let's see, back to England to Liverpool. Went through Wales over to Ireland. So we did that over about a 14-day period of time. So been looking for. We've been trying to do that trip ever since before COVID, and it seemed like every time we'd get about this point of getting to go, something would happen. You mentioned that I had a health issue. I had a clot that went to my lung a few years ago. We were about 2 months before we were scheduled to go the first time, and so we had to put that off a little bit. So, but we finally got to go there. And then a couple weeks after I got back home, the company that I work for says, "Hey, we got a business meeting over in London." Or when I say London, actually a place called Newcastle, which is north of London. So we went back over and spent a couple of days. So we've been over there twice this summer.
Pam got to go with you, didn't she?
Yep. So my wife, Pamela, got to go twice. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Pam is, she's from over there from what, North Carolina, South Carolina?
Virginia. Yeah,
Virginia.
She was originally from Lynchburg, Virginia. Up there, some people on the phone may recognize that area. That was where Thomas Road Baptist Church was, where Jerry Falwell was the pastor in that area. So if you recognize that, if anybody knows that from a blast from way back in the 80s. She was from Virginia. We met at Louisiana College there in Pineville. Her sister was working there at the school at the time, which brought her there. And long story after that, right? I won't go into it because we don't have a lot of other time. So, yep. We've now been, together for a while, so that's good.
Well, we're about running out of time here, Payton, and I don't want to infringe on anybody else's live time, if you will. And I hate that we disappointed people in the chat because I don't want people to know the depths of darkness. Like you said, it would be much better if we could have told people what God has kept us out of instead of what he had to get us out of.
Yes, definitely. Because there were some depths of depravity, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Remy goes live at 7:00 Central Time, 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central. So get over there and check old Remy out if you are able to. And Jan is live at 6. And I want to say Jesse, and he's not in here. Jesse just had cataract surgery, but he should be doing pretty good. I want to say that tonight, is it tonight or tomorrow night? I want to say tonight at 8:30 that they're going to be on Lisa at Yogi Hollow Farms channel. She wanted some dirt. Misha, you knew I wasn't going to let it go that far. You knew that wasn't going to happen. Good deal. Anyway, hey, Evan up at the North Branch, good to see you. Appreciate you hopping in. Hey, Payton, if you do get a chance, and I recommend all these channels, but I had Evan on my channel a month or so ago. he was like, I can't remember where he was at sub wise. He was 200 or something. I can't remember. It may have been 400, 200, 300, 400. He's over 1,000 now. He's building a homestead up there in Wisconsin, which they just got snow. I think got a lot of snow up there, or some snow. But it's the most interesting thing to watch him go from, how he's building that homestead up. Anyway, it's just very, I don't know why I just thought of that. I guess because I seen him on the chat. But hey, Terry, good to see you. Appreciate you saying hello. Phil, you have a great weekend too. And everybody, he could have slipped in one. No. The minute has gone. I talked good enough. Hey, Doreen, appreciate you coming in. Yeah, we about to leave on out of here. Get on down the road and let y'all get some of these other lives. Get to take your honey, you better half out to eat or whatever you do on Friday nights. If you like us, you put on the Waltons and you get in your recliner.
Hey, there you go.
But I appreciate everybody in the chat coming.
Brother Chuck, give Belinda our love and your family, of course. And so great getting to meet with everyone on the channel today. So if anybody does want some more dirt though, just reach out to me and we'll see what we can get for you.
Yeah, I'll leave his address in the description box.
That's like his check to me for showing up. By the way, he promised me that he was going to double my salary for this since yesterday. So I guess that check's in the mail too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, two times zero is still zero.
That's right.
Hang on there, Payton, real quick. I'm just gonna tell everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all coming. Y'all could be anywhere else in the world besides right here, but you chose to be with us, and we thank you so much. And it's our privilege. It's our privilege to be able to get to know you. I want you to know that, and I appreciate all of y'all that some of you said you shared it out. Appreciate you sharing it out. All the kind comments, and I appreciate you not giving me such a hard time in front of old Payton. That'd have been tough to have to deal with that because he'd never let me down. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. But look, I appreciate y'all coming, and we'll talk to y'all next. I got a big guest supposedly come on next week. Y'all gonna he's like Elvis, y'all. He's that big. So hopefully he will make he'll be able to come on. All right. Well, look, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you later. God bless.